All right, Cappy. So this week from Lay Vampire, you and Aquarius both pulled natural, authentic, real, and organic. But you guys pulled instinct from chakra wisdom. So basically, your instincts are leading you to take that journey to understand yourself fully beyond what the world sees and how the world defines who you are. So natural, the blessing here says, when you take away the trappings of money, power, status in the world, you are left with the things of spirit. You are rich in the ways of the soul indeed. This creates a centered, balanced, strong core. And then working with this card talks about how there may have been an over-reliance on ways of identifying who you are. Whether you categorize yourself by a job, your appearance, personality, or wealth and background, it's time to go beyond this to who you truly are and know yourself from the inside out. And when you're looking at instinct, one of the key ideas for this is solitary journey. And it may be that you are being led now to take that kind of journey where you truly understand who you are. The inspiration here says that your instinct is finely tuned, so why doubt it? Your journey is guided. The personal question says, how can I master letting go and move on? Do I trust my inner guidance? The key ideas again are solitary journey, spirit lies on the road ahead, being led by spirit and following your instincts. So your instincts are finely tuned, and what it's telling you is that it's time to get down to who you really are. All right, Cap, here we go. Here's the energy coming through. The Four of Pentacles talking about mastering letting go. What are you hanging on to? What is it that you're hanging on so tightly to? Now, in terms of the Pentacles, this is a situation where it definitely suggests that there is financial abundance, but it's not something that you're willing to share. Some of you may feel like you are stuck in a situation, and it's because you're not willing to change or have anything change around you or to lose anything. But for me, immediately the question is, what are you hanging on to and why? So in the past, the Knight of Swords, the feeling I get around that is maybe, doing something a little bit too hasty. The Knight of Swords is one of those energies where, he's moving fast, but he's not really caring about the obstacles that are in his path, which could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending. And the other thing too is there isn't a question here with the Knight as far as truth goes, truth and clarity in the messages. The question becomes, is it the truth with the page? But the Knight it's absolute truth. This is somebody who's very single-minded, very focused, and has something that needs to be said. And it's like they're not willing to stop for anything until, they get that message across. But again, on the other side, it could be doing something a little bit too rash, or doing something without having, all the knowledge that you need first before you get going. And in the present, So now for some of you, it could definitely be dealing with another person. When you're looking at the Knight of Swords and the 9, it could have to do with an air sign. And this may be a situation here where, somebody may have said something that may have come off a little bit harsh for you looking at the 9 of Swords, but then also, with the mental regret, the mental anguish, all that bad thinking, it could be because you may have done something a little bit too soon. And maybe you're regretting doing this or worrying about, what the outcome is going to be from you taking this action. I kind of feel this thing where you're like mentally going back and forth. Did I do the right thing? Did I not do the right thing? Oh, future conditions, the Queen of Cups. Now, in terms of you, this is definitely about you being like maybe a little bit too emotionally attached to the situation. And this may be because of something that somebody else has said to you or done. Or because, you may be feeling bad about what you have done. Now, on the other hand, this could represent the person that you're dealing with. And it could be a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. But, I kind of get the feeling like she teeters right? It's asking you to be emotionally intuitive, but the problem is what I'm looking at here is somebody who is emotionally stuck with something that, you know, may have not gone the way that you wanted to, and mentally you're just not in a very good spot about it. Your best path to follow, the Knight of Cups. Wow. Okay, Cap, so, you know, for some of you, this is really about following your heart. But the thing is when you're looking at the Knight of Cups' advice to you, it is, you know, telling you you need to be careful about being emotionally led on or just following your fancies and not really committing to anything. But then the other thing too is when you're looking at the Knight as a messenger, this could be saying to you that you may need to be open to making an offering here and like expressing your feelings, possibly. You know, and again, it may have to do with another person. You have water around you. You know, for some of you, it may be that maybe there wasn't enough communication, or maybe the communication was a little bit too harsh. And then for some of you, this just may be you blocking yourself mentally when it comes to, you know, needing to make an offer, right? Or even accepting one. And I do think that that mental thinking is what you need to let go of and not be so emotionally attached to the bad thinking either. In your environment, the Hangman, yeah, so you're not really sure on what to do. When you're looking at the Hangman connected with the Nine of Swords, right, it's like you're not sure, you're not clear, you're not mentally clear on what actions you need to take or what decisions you should be making either. And you're just kind of waiting around to see what is going to happen. And I think that Spirit really is trying to tell you that maybe it's time for you to start opening up about the way that you feel. And that possibly for some of you, it could be a need for you to follow your heart here and, you know, make an effort here to like make that offering for that emotional connection. It is very much the messenger of love and romance, which could possibly be the case for some of you, and needing to extend that offer to somebody, or again, accepting it. But, you know, I'm worried here about where you are right now with the mental block, and whatever happened in the past here with the Knight of Swords, you're like not really willing to move forward. You know, you may have done something that you regretted. You're emotionally attached to it. Now it's time for, you know, you to start doing something, but I don't think that you're quite sure yet. You know, you need to like see all sides of a situation, right? Because it is about seeing things in a different perspective. But the way to do that is to allow yourself to be in that kind of limbo state so that you can receive that enlightenment. So I don't think that now is the right time to act. And even with the Knight of Cups, this isn't somebody who is being quick to action either. Your hopes and your fears, the Nine of Wands. Yeah, you know, look at the nines. You know, it's coming to the end. When you start to get into the tens, you see things starting to wrap up, right? Tying up some loose ends. But you're looking at, you know, the initial ending of a phase right now. And when you're looking at the Nine of Wands, it's one of those situations where you've been put through it. It is the wounded warrior. This is somebody who has been through the battle. They are still strong and persistent, and they're still on the lookout for, you know, what is coming next. You know, you don't want to be overly paranoid about having to deal with anything, you know, new that you're going to end up regretting though either. But I think that, you know, this is a hope. This is a hope for you to be persistent in the things that you're really wanting to see. But I do think that you need to be careful about your emotional attachments too. You know, but then at the same time, if you're dealing with a person, you know, maybe it's time for you to start like opening up about the way that you feel. It's just one of those things where you need to be careful about communication, and you got to be careful about blocking yourself too. But I think you're doing the right thing here by kind of opening yourself up and like waiting, just wait a minute, you know, you need to see things differently because where you're at right now isn't very clear. Oh, and then the outcome, the Ten of Pentacles, and that looks great. So now, if you're just dealing with situations with family members, I think this is a situation here with the Knight of Cups where, you know, there's a chance here to like do some bonding, you know, possibly with a person within the family. Now, when you're looking at it in terms of relationship, though, you know, if you get to the point here where you find, you know, the strength to make the right decision and start taking that action, you get to a spot where things get, you know, more stable when you're looking at the Ten of Pentacles. It is laying down your roots. It is absolute financial security and stability, you know. And to me, that is where you need to be, but it's going to start with you either accepting or making an offer. It's one of the two. You know, and the Ten of Pentacles for Capricorn is beautiful energy. It really is. Having a nice, stable foundation, a long-lasting, you know, it's something that is sustainable. This isn't short-lived, right? But I think that there needs to be some open communication with feelings. And you need to be careful about your emotional attachments to bad thinking, because I do think that you need to release that in order to get to a point here where you can see things differently. Have, you know, the determination here to do what you need to do with this Knight of Cups, whether it's accepting or offering, so you can get to this point where things start to feel a little bit more grounded for you. But it's good. It's good. It's just, I think that there are some things that you're going to have to let go of emotionally. And mentally, for that matter. Stop doing that to yourself, right? You know, no regrets. You know, sometimes we do things without really thinking about the consequences and not really caring about how it's going to affect another person. But, you know, this is saying that you have a conscience, which is good. But you don't want to be stuck with that emotionally, especially if you're looking to move forward in any type of a relationship. But, you know, I think you'll get there. You'll get there where you start to see things a little bit differently and understanding that, you know, there are going to have to be things that you need to let go of, whether it's a point of view or, you know, being emotionally attached to bad things or bad thinking. You'll get there and things will be a little bit more grounded for you, you know, but don't give up, you know, don't give up. All right, Cap, we're going to take a look at the soul trees to see what other messages there are for you guys. I worry a little bit, but I feel good about it because, you know, with Capricorn, it's one of those things where you guys always end up doing the right thing. You always will do the right thing, and the right thing for yourself, which is most important here. Compassion, acceptance, oh my goodness, and the beginning. Jeez. Compassion, oh my goodness. Compassion is one of those cards where not only do you need to have compassion for yourself, but you have to have compassion for others when you don't understand what their actions are sometimes, right? Acceptance, accepting an offer. And then the beginning of some new experiences here for you. You know, because even when you're looking at the Ten of Pentacles, it goes back into the Ace, which is security. It is the beginning of security for you. I love it. I love it. So there is the beginning of something happening here. Once you accept what is coming through and needing to have compassion, not just for yourself, but for other people. Wow. All right, Cap, we're going to take a look at the romance angels to see what's going on for you guys in terms of love. Attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. Absolutely. And that doesn't mean enjoying the moment of bad mental thinking either, Cap. Stop doing that. Don't do that to yourself. But when you learn to enjoy life, you become more attractive to the people that are around you. Love yourself first and then past life relationship. Wow. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. I mean, you know, both of them for me, it's like needing to be in the moment fully and needing to have love for yourself. But then when you're looking at past life relationships, you have known each other before. That's pretty powerful. So for those of you who are in a relationship, you are connecting with a love from the past, which is pretty amazing. But it is very important for you to enjoy every single moment with that person, especially within this lifetime. And the other thing too is if you need to do some healing, now is the time to do that, right? But you also have to love yourself as well. It's amazing. It is amazing. So Cap, I do think that you're going to get to a place that's going to be very stable for you, which is good. But you do have to be true to yourself and be true to who you are. But, at the same time, acceptance, needing to accept something wonderful at that. All right, Cap, so I kind of get the feeling here that for some of you, you're either dealing with a situation where somebody has acted a little bit too hasty or you did. And it's left you regretting the actions that were taken. And you're in a bad mental spot. Stop doing that to yourself. Don't do that, right? Stop thinking that way, because I'm telling you, you need to let go of that, and you need to be careful about being emotionally attached to things in the past. They're over and done with now. And I do think that for some of you, you need to accept an offer that's coming through. It's either you needing to make it or you needing to accept it. But then the other thing with acceptance too is you need to accept the new beginnings that are happening. That's pretty amazing. And then compassion, right? If you are dealing with somebody who acted in a way that you don't understand, compassion is the way forward. But I do think that, you need to kind of give yourself a minute. You're going to have to give yourself a minute so that you don't become emotionally attached to bad thinking or things that happened in the past. You have to see things differently so that you're not mentally blocking yourself anymore. And then when you're looking at the Nine of Wands, absolutely be persistent, and don't give up. Don't give up on the things that you're wanting. And I think that for some of you, you've been put through it. I mean, the nines, right? But you're getting to a point here where I think when you start opening up about the way that you feel and accepting offers, you're going to get to a very stable, beautiful foundation. But then, when you're looking at love with attraction and love yourself first, and then looking at natural, I really do think that it's important for Cappy to be true to themselves. And that was a part of last week's too. You need to be true to yourself and be able to communicate the way that you're feeling. And then, your instincts are finely tuned, right? Like, you instinctively know that what you're hanging on to isn't good for you. You need to let it go. But then you also need to be true to yourself. Now, attraction, again, for those of you who are single, when you enjoy life, that is what gets people, noticing you. You are like very attractive to them when you are so full of life and enjoying life. And then for those of you who are in a relationship, really love yourself first and past life relationship. I think that for some of you, you are doing some healing with a partner who, this reading could have something to do with what happened in another life, for all we know, right? But where you're coming out at looks really good. And the reason why I say healing is because one of the things that I noticed with this card is the green dress. The healing of a past life relationship. And having it return to you now. It's amazing to me. It blows me away. And then you get to this point here where you're true to yourself, you love yourself, you're in the moment, you're enjoying the moment, and you're doing this work within a past life relationship. Cap, I love it. I think it's great. But I do love that this is what came out for you because, the beginning, with this being the end, it opens up into that new beginning of security and sustainability within your life, within the physical realm, the spiritual, and your love life as well.